Hello and welcome everyone to a key points of the fetal monitoring Irish guideline. This is very suitable for candidates preparing for the MRCPI exam, either the written part or the OSCE part of it. So, as you can see, my friend, this update was published in the 2025, and it's now very easy, okay, for a candidate who wants to be double certified by both MRCUG and MRCPI to study the same almost resources in the management of labor. So the NICE guideline and the Irish guideline now are very much similar or almost the same. And I would like to grab your attention here, my friends, that the fetal monitoring doesn't necessarily mean a CTG, but we do have intermittent auscultation, or IA, in the guideline, or the CTG, the external fetal monitoring. And here they put you the rule number 1. In this rule, they tell you what is the initial assessment to determine the appropriate intrapartum fetal heart monitoring. CTG is not routine. This is what you need to learn. Okay, CTG is not routine. And the risk factors, either maternal or antenatal, will be an indication for a CTG, like, for example, medical condition in the mother, like diabetes, hypertension, sepsis, okay, or some other antenatal risk factor, for example, abnormal presentation or repeated reduced fetal movement, oligohydramnios, or FGR. This will indicate CTG in labor. Otherwise, the woman who is low risk that comes in labor will only have intermittent auscultation in the first stage of labor. This will be every 15 minutes. In the second stage of labor, this will be every 5 minutes. What about the ongoing risk assessment? This is to determine the appropriate intrapartum fetal heart rate monitoring, and this is assessing of risk factor during labor, like, for example, excessive contractions or hypertonus, which is contraction that lasts more than 2 minutes, having also 5 or more contractions in 10 minutes, meconium stained liquor at any grade, or a fresh vaginal bleeding, and blood-stained liquor not associated with VE, use of oxytocin, maternal pyrexia, or suspected sepsis, severe hypertension, or increased pulse, or proteinuria in labor, or use of regional analgesia or confirmed delay. So if there is any concern also while you're doing intermittent auscultation, you have to turn into a CTG until you are reassured. So this is the a table of the ongoing risk assessment, and I will advise you go through it for the single best answer questions. Then, my friends, the guideline will show you, as you can see here, the classification of the intrapartum CTG parameter based on the NICE guideline 2022. And we have 4 features in any CTG in order to assess. The 4 features are the contractions, baseline fetal heart rate, and variability and decelerations, right? This is what you need to assess in each and every CTG. So simply, my friends, the contractions, which is normally will be found in a rate of 3 to 4 in 10 minutes. Once you have 5 or more contractions in 10 minutes, this is considered as a tachysystole. Okay, a hypertonus uterus, this is a contraction that lasts 2 minutes or longer. Be careful of this definition. So, and they give you a color coding as well to comment on the contraction. Either it's a green, normal, or amber, suspicious, or red, pathological. So what is a normal contraction? This is up to 4 in 10 minutes. What is a suspicious contraction? This is if it is 5 or more in 10 minutes, leading to reduced resting time between the contraction or hypertonus. What is the pathological? They didn't mention. Okay, so what is the action if you find that there is 5 contractions or more? The action will be full risk assessment and take action to reduce the contraction frequency. Like, for example, if there is oxytocin, you reduce it or stop it. And you can consider the use of terpitolene, of course, or GTN in labor. How about the baseline fetal heart rate? So the baseline fetal heart rate usually will be between 110 to 160 per minute. And the lower fetal heart rate are expected to be found with post-term pregnancy. Okay, while the higher baseline rate is found in the preterm pregnancies. Very important, my friends, to mention that what is the baseline fetal heart rate at the start of the CTG, because a change in the baseline fetal heart rate can be early stages of the pathological or early stages of hypoxia. Again, they are using the color coding in here. It's normal, suspicious, or pathological. What is a normal fetal heart rate? This is between 110 to 160. What is the suspicious? Suspicious, this is when there is an increase in the baseline fetal heart rate of 20. So again, let's say a patient admitted at the beginning of labor, it was 120. And after some time, you check, you find that the baseline become 150. Is that okay? No, it's not okay. This is suspicious that some abnormality can be going on, and this is the early stages of it. How would I know? I'll tell you a background point, my friend, regarding the baseline fetal heart rate. You will find here that in the development of intrapartum hypoxia, we must observe, classify the physiology, and predict how it might get worse, okay, and act accordingly. So hypoxia will begin with deceleration, and deceleration disappear. That's why if accelerations are there, we will be happy. That's mean reassurance. But if no acceleration in the fetal heart rate, now it's time to worry. Then baseline fetal heart rate increase. As you can see here, this is the third step of developing of hypoxia, right? So if I have this situation, deceleration, loss of acceleration, and increase of the baseline fetal heart rate, okay, now I am midway, right, in the changes to hypoxia. Then there will be compensated stress, okay, like stable baseline fetal heart rate and normal variability, but deceleration deeper and wider, okay. Then after compensation, there will be decompensation. After the decompensation, the baby will reach to, unfortunately, to end stage, which is myocardial failure with a step ladder pattern to death. So a wise doctor that will be able to identify the early stages, okay, that is suspicious on the CTG by the increased baseline fetal heart rate of 20 or more from the time of start the labor or since the last review 1 hour ago. Or otherwise, you find clearly that the fetal heart rate between 100 to 109, or you are unable to determine the baseline. What is a pathological CTG? Now, pathological CTG is a CTG that is, baseline is baseline below 100 or above 160, or an increase in the baseline fetal heart rate of 20 or more in active second stage of labor. Okay, so this is a very important feature that you need to take care of. Okay, during the second stage of labor, also the change of the fetal heart rate of 20 or more, this is pathological. Now let's have a look to the variability. And variability here, allow me to use my presentation. So in the variability, my friends, this is example of a normal variability, and this is the change in the beat to beat variability, right, during the trace, right? If the variability between 5 to 10, I'm happy, right? When there is a reduced variability, as you can see, like in this graph, I would be worried if this reduced variability reached to 30 minutes, okay? Between 30 minutes to 50 minutes, I'm still worried. That means suspicious, okay? And it's pathological when it is fewer than 5 for more than 50 minutes, or more than 25 for more than 10 minutes, or a sinusoidal pattern, okay? And the sinusoidal pattern, as you can see, okay, it's like seen in cases of fetal anemia, right? And you have to differentiate between the sinusoidal pattern, the true one, and the pseudo one. How about the deceleration? Look, my friends, the deceleration is very important that you well check here for the deceleration, which is defined as transient episodes when the fetal heart rate slows below baseline level by more than 15 beat per minute, which with each episode lasting 15 seconds or more. An exception of this that the trace would use variability deceleration may be shallow, okay? And deceleration in the intrapartum period should be described as early or variable or late. The early decelerations, my friends, are good type of or benign type of the deceleration. And here I'm showing you, this is an example of the early deceleration, which comes in line with the contraction, right? So the deceleration here is periodic, right? And it's in response to the contractions, and we don't have something to make us worry with the early deceleration types. But when to be worried, I would be worried if I have a variable deceleration, but not any type of a variable deceleration. I will be worried if I have variable deceleration with concerning characteristic. The variable deceleration with concerning characteristic, my friends, is considered as a risk, right? The variable deceleration, this is the type of the deceleration that's not related to the contractions, right? As you can see here in this graph, this is show a repetitive variable deceleration, okay? And also it show concerning characteristic, like for example, this is a very deep deceleration, become wider and deeper, right? And the deceleration, it has loss of shouldering, or if it is lasting more than 60 seconds, or it has a failure or a slow return to the baseline fetal heart rate, or if there is loss of previously present shouldering. All of this considered as variable deceleration with concerning characteristic. So, in my categorization of the deceleration, normal or suspicious or pathological. What is normal? No deceleration at all. What is normal also? Early deceleration are normal. Or variable deceleration that not evolving to have concerning characteristic. Okay, so I will show this picture of the variable deceleration to remember, okay, this is kind of variable deceleration that I'm not really worried about. Okay, how about the other type? Yes, if there is a concerning characteristic and it's repetitive, but lasts less than 30 minutes, okay, I will be a little bit worried. Or if the variable deceleration of the good type with no concerning characteristic lasts more than 30 minutes, I am now also suspicious. Or if I have Repetitive late deceleration, but less than 30 minutes, also suspicious. So if I have, again, repetitive variable deceleration with concerning characteristic for less than 30 minutes, it's a suspicious. Once turned 30 minutes, it's pathological. Okay, my friends? And then if I have late deceleration for less than 30 minutes, it's a suspicious. Late deceleration turned into 30 minutes or more, it's now pathological. Other forms of pathological deceleration, like acute bradycardia, single prolonged deceleration lasting 3 minutes or more. So my friends, how can I comment on the CTG? Commenting on the CTG, this will depend on the features, the number of the features found. So if all features are normal, this takes green color, and this is normal CTG, right? How about if suspicious? Suspicious if there is one feature only suspicious. Pathological, this is if there is one feature is pathological or more features are suspicious. So what I will do, my friends, after the overall classification of the intrapartum CTG, according to the finding, I will take the decision. This is a decision making on how to manage labor that should be based on the overall clinical picture, including maternal observation, contractions frequency, and labor progress. When it is normal, continue standard care. In the event that the CTG commences due to the fetal heart rate concern arising from intermittent auscultation and no other antenatal or intrapartum risk factor present, fetal monitoring can revert back to intermittent auscultation if the woman wishes. So normal is simply continue standard care. How about if there is suspicious and no concerning factors? If this is suspicious and no concerning factors, then look to the whole clinical picture. If the previous CTG was normal, consider possible underlying causes and take conservative measures. How about suspicious, but there is additional intrapartum risk factors such as slow progress, sepsis, or meconium? In this case, you will possible underlying the causes and would be considered conservative measures to be undertaken. An urgent review by obstetrician and senior midwife should be obtained and documented in the healthcare records. How about if this is pathological? If pathological, an urgent review by obstetrician and senior midwife would be obtained. Acute event will be excluded, such as cord prolapse, suspected placental abruption, or uterine rupture, and other underlying causes should be considered, and if present, conservative measures should be undertaken. If the CTG remain pathological after implementing conservative measures, obtain a further urgent review and evaluate the whole clinical picture and consider expediting birth. Okay? And then acute bradycardia or single prolonged deceleration for 3 minutes or more. This will equal preparation for urgent birth. Now, my friends, I have here reached to the end of the decision-making algorithm, and I think that this can give you an idea about the management of the fetal heart rate monitoring during labor, right? Based on the classification of the CTG according to the NICE 2022, which is now in line with the Irish guideline. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. And if you like the video and you liked our activity, please like and subscribe and leave us a feedback. Thank you very much.